In today's video, we'll be going over a ton of games that are being teased for Gamescom. If you don't know, Gamescom will be kicking off on August 21st and it'll run through August 25th. Outside of E3, it's one of the biggest gaming shows of the year. There are always a ton of reveals, great gameplay, and a lot of exciting announcements. So August 21st is actually going to be a big day if you're into gaming. There will be a lot of cool stuff shown off, so we'll take a look at what could be announced. Speaking of studios that worked on PlayStation 4 exclusives, Ready at Dawn CEO talked about the Order 1886 and how that game has been selling and what type of games they want to work on next. So I'm definitely interested in taking a look at that. Also, we've got the release dates of all of the Walking Dead, the final season's episodes. Of course, this is an episodic series, so episodes come out periodically, but we've got the release dates for every single one of them. And lastly, I do want to take a look at a great deal on Middle-earth Shadow of War Gold Edition over at Best Buy. We've been talking a lot about digital deals. Yes, the PlayStation Store is running that great sale right now, but I know a lot of you guys want your physical copies, so I got you covered with that at the end of this video as well. First up, let's talk about Gamescom 2018. This is going to be a big show with a lot of game announcements, a lot of gameplay, and here's what's already been confirmed. Ubisoft is going to present a global premiere, so this is a brand new game no one knows about. A lot of people are throwing out the idea it could be a new Splinter Cell game. That was rumored for E3. I believe that was one of the games listed on Walmart Canada, so I do think that Ubisoft is working on that game, and they've done some crossovers recently. It seems like a foregone conclusion that we will get a new Splinter Cell game at some point. Maybe they decided to hold off on announcing that game at E3, and rather they're going to announce it at Gamescom because it probably won't be released before this year's out anyway. THQ Nordic will introduce a previously unannounced title based on one of the publisher's established brands. Now, established brands, that already winds it down to a couple of games. Could very well be a new Red Faction game. We just saw Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered Edition being released, so usually when you do a Remastered Edition, that does open up the door for a future entry. Look at what we got with Darksiders, and Darksiders 2 were remastered. Now we have Darksiders 3 on the way. I don't think it's all too crazy if we do see a new Red Faction game. Could be a new Saints Row game. Saints Row has been absent for a little bit. We did get Agents of Mayhem last year, but a new Saints Row title would also be pretty cool, so stay on the lookout for that. We do know that the first trailer for Life is Strange 2 will be making its debut. Koch Media, publishing label of Deep Silver, will make a new announcement, and Bandai Namco will be announcing a new game from a European developer, so that'll be exciting. I think Bandai Namco is one of the more underrated publishers in the world today. On top of that, we're going to be getting announcements from a lot of other studios as well. And we do know that the opening ceremony for Gamescom 2018 will feature world premieres. You can watch Gamescom live. It'll happen on 10 a.m. BST on August 21st. And how that translates is 2 a.m. Pacific time, 5 a.m. Eastern, and 11 a.m. CST on August 21st. So maybe if you want to wake up a little bit early, you can catch some of Gamescom before work. Otherwise, we will be covering all of the news that comes out, so stay tuned to the channel. Speaking of Gamescom, another game that could be announced at the big show is from the Until Dawn makers in Supermassive Games. They have trademarked a brand new title called Shattered State. Supermassive Games, as I mentioned, most known for Until Dawn, and Until Dawn was a great game released all the way back in 2014. It was a story-driven game in the vein of a cheesy horror movie, but it turned out really well. I don't think a lot of people were expecting something really good with Until Dawn, but it was a pretty fun game, albeit the $59.99 price point may have been a little bit steep, but at this point, you can get it really cheap. As a matter of fact, it's on sale right now, so that is a game I would recommend, and whatever Shattered State is, I'm interested to see how it'll turn out. Let's keep this in the PlayStation CEO. Ready at Dawn CEO Ru Warasua looked back at the Order 1886, how that game is doing, and where he wants to go next. Here's what he said. Quote, "I would say it's pretty steady since the game has been released. Of course, counting out the first few months for any game is pretty huge. It's been pretty steady. There's been kind of a constant group of people playing, and every time people play, they're kind of like, hey, just played your game, loved it, when's the next one coming out? We keep on getting those, so yeah, I think it's got a long life as far as the game's concerned. It's hard for me to answer that one. I will tell you the same answer I would have given in the past before the Order came out, that the IP was built with a lot of work behind it. Even before the release of the game, we put a lot of work on the foundations of why each of these characters are who they are, where they come from, what is behind the story, not 1886, but what's behind the story. We asked, where did it start, where is it going? There was a lot of story that was already written because we felt, again, writing a game and just kind of isolating it to just the story that it would have been was not enough for us. Since the Order 1886, Ready at Dawn has worked on some smaller titles including Deformers, a multiplayer brawler, and Lone Echo, a game exclusive to the Oculus Rift. He also did talk about making AAA titles again, and here's what he said. Quote, "Yeah, absolutely. We have it in our DNA. DNA, we've kind of gone many different places in game design and game genre in the ways stories are told, from a platformer to an action game to an RPG to a combat game to a VR experience to a third-person shooter. For 15 years, we've done a lot of different things. But also, again, it's a tribute to the team and the talent of the team. They had a drive to basically explore, become better. Like, personally, as a developer, how can you improve your craft? All of these people took those challenges on, so for us to go back to bigger budget and make something on console, yeah, it's in our DNA. We will always kind of have that balance. I think the studio is never stuck on one thing. So it looks like everything around Ready at Dawn has a positive outlook for it. I don't think we'll ever see a sequel to The Order 1886, even though I would love to. I've been vocal on how I felt about The Order 1886. I didn't think it was an exceptional game, but I thought the world building and the world potential of the game is limitless. There's a lot to do in the world of The Order 1886, and there's so many different directions to go. It's unfortunate they crafted this world and it's never really going to be tapped into, because again, there's so much potential here. I just don't think it'll ever be realized, which is kind of a shame. Moving on from that, The Walking Dead Telltale's game final season has gotten its first episode released, and if you played through that, you might be wondering when the rest of the episodes will be released. Well, I got you information on that. The second episode, Suffer the Children, will be released on September 25th, Broken Toys will be released on November 6th, and Take Us Back, the final episode, will be out before year's end on December 18th, a week before Christmas. That seems kind of timely to end The Walking Dead, but this has been one of the most remarkable story-driven adventures, I think, in the history of gaming. I really don't think it's hyperbolic in saying that, and I've said that countless times, that this is one of the best stories in all of gaming and all of gaming history. How it's been told, the attention to detail, the emotion it invokes, it is at such a high level, and if you've yet to experience The Walking Dead, you're really doing yourself no favors. Unfortunately, at this point, you cannot pre-order the final season anymore, because pre-ordering it would have gotten you access to every other season, which was a crazy pre-order incentive. But even still, I would recommend you to at least check out the first season. You can usually find it pretty cheap, and then you'll probably like it enough to where you'll want to check out the second season, you'll want to check out A New Frontier, and then you'll want to check out the final season, because of course they are all attached together and you don't want to just jump into the final season. But as far as the episode releases for this season, again, Suffer the Children September 25th, Broken Toys November 6th, and Take Us Back December 18th.
Clem, you're in danger. You and AJ both.
Lastly, we've been talking a lot about some digital game deals. That PlayStation Store sale right now is just incredible, but for those of you that want your physical deals, I still got you covered. Not quite as many good deals available right now as on the digital side, but over at Best Buy, you can check out Middle-earth Shadow of War Gold Edition, $50 off for just $19.99. What a deal for Middle-earth Shadow of War that is. $20 for just the base game is quite good, but this deal is the Gold Edition, so that is even better. Typically goes for $70, but right now $19.99 and a little bit cheaper if you do have a Gamers Club Unlocked subscription, so that is a great deal. Take advantage of that, and I did personally thoroughly enjoy Middle-earth Shadow of War, and I think it's a game worth playing, even though it did have some controversy around release. Monolith has made the game better since its release. They removed the microtransactions, they've added more depth to the gameplay. You really can't say all too much bad about the game at this point. So $19.99 for that title. We'll leave a link in the description box below. Check it out.
Missions, puzzles, treasures, overlords, and heaps of other stuff hidden all around. There's a ton of stuff to do on top of all the glorious bloody violence. If that's your thing, you soft sod. And you do it all while looking flash with the Ripper kit your elf mate forges for you.
It is perfect.
Swords, bows, armor, the lot. And you've got loads of skills you can master, upgrade, swap out whenever you want.
It's the Grave Walker. I thought he was dead. He is.
And did I mention the orcs? Look at these bastards. The world's full of orc tribes, each with their own rituals and flash gear and preferred methods of getting into a scrap.
That's gonna conclude this video, guys. Again, a lot is being teased for Gamescom 2018. It'll be kicked off on August 21st, very early, 5 a.m. Eastern Time, 2 a.m. Pacific. We'll get you all the news on that. Hopefully, we see some big game announcements. One of the announcements we could see is Shattered State, a new trademark that was made by Supermassive Games, the developer of Until Dawn. So we're interested to see how that turns out. Ready at Dawn CEO wants to get back to making high-budget games. Would you like to see a sequel to The Order 1886, or was that a game you were not all too fond of? Personally, I'd love to see it, but I just don't think that'll ever come to fruition. Again, The Walking Dead Telltale Games Season 4, all of those episode release dates have been revealed, and they'll be coming periodically until the end of the year. And lastly, that deal on Middle-earth Shadow of War Gold Edition is great. $19.99, can't go wrong with that. That's gonna wrap up this one. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.